The sun sank below the horizon and the sea mirage cut silently through the darkening. Waves passengers laughed and drank, unaware that tonight their trust would be tested and their fears manipulated by a captain whose smile hid secrets that could turn paradise into terror. Before we dive into today's topic, make sure to subscribe to the channel to stay updated with all our latest videos. Don't forget to like and comment your thoughts below. I love hearing from you. The sun dipped low over the endless ocean, painting the horizon in streaks of gold and crimson as the sea mirage glided silently through calm waters. Passengers moved across the polished decks, families, couples, and elderly travelers, all with wide eyes and eager smiles, taking in the luxury of the cabins, the soft warmth of the pools, and the tantalizing aroma of dishes prepared with exotic flair. While Captain Elias Monroe appeared on the bridge, a man of commanding presence with sharp eyes that seemed to notice everything, yet his smile was inviting and his voice carried authority mixed with charm, announcing tonight at midnight there would be a special surprise for all guests, a surprise that would make this voyage unforgettable. And as passengers whispered and speculated, the crew moved silently behind the scenes, exchanging subtle glances that spoke of something hidden. Everything seemed perfect. Yet the slightest oddities began to creep in. Lights flickered in empty hallways. A crew member disappeared for a moment, only to reappear with a nervous laugh, and the ship itself seemed almost too quiet at times, as if holding its breath on the decks. Guests laughed and danced and sipped cocktails, unaware of the tension simmering beneath the festive veneer. The journalist among the passengers noticed inconsistencies in the captain's schedule, announcements, and small details that seemed orchestrated. The tech-savvy couple discovered anomalies in the ship's navigation system, and the elderly historian spoke quietly of legends warning that even the most serene voyages could be riddled with deception. As night fell, a dense fog rolled in, swallowing the ship in a gray shroud. The special midnight tour announcement echoed through the speakers, and the passengers gathered on the deck, hearts pounding with a mixture of excitement and unease, unaware that the night ahead would test their trust, courage, and perception to its limits. The fog wrapped the ship in an eerie silence, only broken by the distant creaking of the hull. Waves lapped against the sides and the wind whispered secrets through the rigging. Captain Monroe addressed the crowd, his calm voice carrying across the deck, reassuring them that the tour would be safe but thrilling. Some guests shivered at the tone of his words, while others felt an irresistible curiosity drawing them deeper into the unknown. The lights dimmed, shadows danced across the walls, and crew members moved with silent precision, positioning props and devices that would create illusions that blurred the line between reality and fear. The journalist exchanged a glance with the tech-savvy couple, sensing that something elaborate was unfolding, and even the historian's eyes widened with a mixture of anticipation and concern. The ship continued forward into the fog, leaving familiar waters behind, and as midnight approached, the first faint sound of the unusual adventure reached the passengers, a low hum that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. The sea mirage had become a stage, a puzzle, and a test all in one, and the guests had no idea that Captain Monroe's clever mind was orchestrating every heartbeat and every gasp that would follow. The fog thickened around the sea mirage, enveloping the ship in a gray cloud so dense that the horizon disappeared. Passengers clutched railings, eyes wide with fear and excitement, as strange sounds echoed from empty corridors. Lights flickered and electronic devices failed, leaving them feeling isolated and vulnerable. Yet Captain Monroe stood calm on the deck, commanding their attention, his steady voice guiding them through the fabricated dangers. Every shadow, every creak, and every flicker had been engineered to thrill and terrify. Small clues began to reveal the truth hidden. Projectors cast ghostly images across the deck, audio devices simulated voices, footsteps, and whispers, and crew members disguised as shadows moved silently among the guests. The journalist pieced together the intricate ruse, realizing that the mechanical failure that had made hearts pound and adrenaline surge was nothing more than a carefully staged scenario. The tech-savvy couple confirmed anomalies in the ship's systems, proving that the fog and navigation alerts were orchestrated illusions. Even the historian smiled, knowing that Captain Monroe had created a story worthy of legend. Panic began to mix with exhilaration. Some guests laughed nervously, others shouted accusations, but all were swept along in the experience, and The captain explained finally that his purpose had been to challenge perceptions of fear, trust, and adventure to immerse the passengers in a thrill that would awaken their senses and leave a memory that would last a lifetime. As the fog lifted, the Sea Mirage returned to calm waters, the night sky clear and serene. The guests disembarked, changed forever, some forming new friendships, others swearing never to trust a captain so cunning yet all aware that they had experienced something extraordinary. The ship prepared for its next voyage, and alone on the bridge, Captain Monroe looked out over the endless horizon, a faint smile playing on his lips, knowing that the next adventure was already taking shape in his mind. A game of perception and clever deceit that would once again test the limits of trust and fear, leaving passengers to wonder what was real and what had been a brilliant illusion. The passengers disembarked from the Sea Mirage, carrying memories that would never fade. Some whispered nervously, recounting moments that had felt perilously real. Others laughed uneasily at the thrill and terror they had shared. Families, couples, and strangers alike glanced at one another with newfound curiosity and wariness, as if the night had altered the way they saw the world, and the captain remained on the bridge alone, gazing out over the endless horizon. His eyes sharp and calculating, yet his lips curved into a small knowing smile. He had orchestrated every sound, every shadow, and every fleeting fear to test the limits of trust and courage. And as the sun rose, casting pale light over calm waters, he allowed himself a quiet satisfaction, knowing that the story of the voyage would ripple through the minds of the guests long after they returned to land. They would speak of the fog, the strange noises, the flickering lights, and the inexplicable moments when the world had seemed to twist and shift around them, yet they would never be able to fully describe the invisible hand that had guided it all. And as the ship sailed onward, preparing for its next journey, he felt the familiar thrill of anticipation, the subtle pulse of mischief that ran through his veins at the thought of crafting another adventure, another deception, another unforgettable voyage where reality and illusion would dance together. And somewhere in the distance, the faint sound of waves whispered promises of secrets still to be revealed and mysteries yet to unfold. And Captain Monroe leaned back against the railing, breathing in the salty air, feeling the endless possibilities stretching before him. The Sea Mirage cutting through waters that held both calm and peril, and he knew that the next guests would step aboard eager and unsuspecting, and like those before them, they would be drawn into the carefully woven web of fear, curiosity, and wonder. And long after the ship had sailed away from the pier, the stories would live on and linger in the minds of all who had been fooled by the captain, whose cunning and imagination turned a simple cruise into a journey they would never forget. As the Sea Mirage returned to port, the passengers disembarked with laughter and chatter, filling the air. Families, couples, and friends sharing stories of the night that had tested their courage and awakened their sense of adventure. The fear and tension that had gripped them now melted into exhilaration and amazement. Smiles spread across faces, wide eyes sparkled with the thrill of having experienced something extraordinary. Captain Monroe watched from the bridge, feeling a quiet satisfaction, knowing that he had not only entertained but inspired a new appreciation for trust, curiosity, and daring in the hearts of those aboard. And as the sun rose higher, casting golden light over the sparkling water, he imagined the next voyage and the new adventures that awaited the next guests, eager to step aboard the Sea Mirage and discover the magic and mystery hidden within its decks. The passengers carried with them a newfound confidence, the realization that stepping into the unknown could be thrilling, rewarding, and unforgettable. And as they waved goodbye, they promised themselves that they would embrace life with the same boldness and wonder that the captain had shown them, and perhaps they would tell others of the journey and encourage friends and loved ones to seek out experiences that challenge perceptions, expand horizons, and ignite the imagination. And as the Sea Mirage set sail once more, cutting through the calm waves, Captain Monroe smiled knowingly, for the adventure never truly ends, and the invitation was always open to anyone willing to embark on a voyage where excitement, wonder, and discovery awaited those ready to trust the journey and dare to believe that life could be extraordinary if only they took the first step aboard. And if you loved this adventure, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe for the next journey aboard the Sea Mirage.